Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Cole. The introduction was pretty good, except for an LLP, not an A. I'm an attorney. I'm an attorney in private practice. Have been for 30 years, and I was appointed in 2000. I guess it was 2001, 2002 to be on the Board of Assessors of Nassau County when we had a Board of Assessors, and then from there, after 3 years, I went over to the Assessment Review Commission, served there for 3 years, then I went to civil service and served there for another 4 years. Over the course of being involved in assessment for the county on both the Department of Assessment side, where you set the values for homes or assessment, and then on the Assessment Review Commission, where you review claims or requests to reduce the value of the home or the assessed value. I've developed an expertise in the process, something that is sadly lacking in Nassau County government. There are some major issues going on that are being discussed. One, recently the county has decided, the Nassau County legislature wanted go back to an elected assessor. In my group, which is 25,000 members, we pulled the issue, and 98% want to stay with an appointed assessor, who is, you go to the county executive and you demand action from the county executive if you think there's something wrong with an appointed assessor. Appointed assessor is just, it's a bad idea, and that's, it's been voted down, but it's gonna come up as an election issue. It's just a place to put people who don't know what they're doing in charge of something they need a skill set. We have a lot of issues that are coming up as far as notice, how people are gonna get notice of their reductions. It's just, you need to stay attuned to it. If you join my Facebook group, you'll get a feel for what the issues are, and you'll be able to ask questions. We were just discussing how the plume could affect property values and your tax grievances. So if anybody lives in the plume, you should join the group and ask your questions.
Hey, I'm Bill Pavone, 23-year resident of Seaford, just south of the location of Grumman Plume. We've known about it since the 60s, and actually Northrop Grumman has known about it since the 40s. It has continued to move south, and guess what? It's now under my house. So about 5 years ago, I became active, read a lot, thousands of pages of reports. I'm not a hydrogeologist, but I can play one on TV. The plume itself consists of hundreds of compounds. It originated through the manufacturing process, just as aircraft brought jobs to Long Island. Aircraft also had a lot of refuse, metal stripping, painting, you name it. Everything that you need to do to manufacture a weapon was done at Bethpage, and all the effluent from that has now been dumped. It has since been, over the last 30 years, been cleaned up on site, including PCBs. More than it has been over the last 20 years, where they're actually just removing soil. But the plume itself exists 4 miles south of Bethpage and is now south of the Southern State Parkway. So there's a lot of information available, but we need your support. Communications to New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for your opinions, your feedback, and a lot of items that are pertinent to the residents of Massapequa have been pertinent to the residents of Bethpage 20, 30 years ago. So it's coming this way. It will get here if nothing is done. Thank you.
My name is Laura Burns. I'm here representing Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. Moms Demand Action is the largest gun violence prevention organization in the country. We were founded in response to the shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. And we started on Facebook as just a bunch of people who had no idea what we were doing, saying to each other, you know, the gun violence in this country is out of hand and we've got to put a stop to it. Now we have a chapter in every state. We have 5 million supporters, and we have been very successful at lobbying on many state level, lobbying toward many state level laws to tighten legislation around guns, around background checks, to close loopholes in the background check law. We have followed the playbook of the NRA. They don't like us at all. We do what they have been very successfully doing for decades now, which is they go into multiple state laws and loosen the gun restrictions. So we are going into multiple state laws and trying to take that ground back. We have had great success here in New York, but we've also had success in many states that are not as blue or as friendly to this issue. Can you hear me now? So we've also had success in very red states and very rural states in doing things like keeping guns off of college campuses, which is a pet project of the NRA. They would like you to be able to open carry your guns into bars on college campuses, and we've been able to stop a lot of bad laws as well. So we really need better laws on the federal level, and I think we all can agree on that, but for right now, we're fighting a good fight on the state levels. We're doing it across the country, and we're gonna win.
Hello, my name is Heath A. Broughton. I am the founder and COO of Man in the Mirror Incorporated, which is a Pablo Machivio organization. Also, Man in the Mirror Youth Consult Services is a profit organization. We have been in existence since 2008, and I didn't know why I was here prior to coming here, but I told my wife this morning and my associate that I had to give birth today to something. And the birth, when I shared with Laura over here, is that I think today is to dispel the myth that we can't go in each other's neighborhoods and make a difference. And I met this wonderful lady here on a whim. We became friends because I helped assist her anytime she called me to come support her ideas and her goals. Man in the Mirror Youth Development Services, not just for youth, it's also for families as well. What we do here, education, we do anything that leads to development. So while we're here today, I see these young people in here who I know that I have to aid them and help these families get where they gotta get. My partner back here, we just left, we have a program in Riverhead and Yaphank Jail. And the funny thing I just shared with Laura is that people think that the discriminatory issues are based upon black and brown incarceration, but we had 3 young men who were white in a group with us. So we do pre-release reentry and aftercare. So we look for transitional houses for these people to come home. Some of the issues that were faced were drug issues. She talked about the opioid situation. We talk about the drug addictions. We talk about everything, but the primary thing that we start talking about now is victim impact. And on every level, there's somebody who's affected by this victim impact, no matter what it is. Not just the incarcerated, but the kid who's out here experimenting because they don't have the relationships that we tend to not share with one another because it's taboo. Why is it that Luba can't come in my community and I can't go in her community? But anytime she called me, I'm here. I never stepped foot in a place like this in Nassau County, and I look around now, and not too many people look like me in here, but the fear is not there. And if I can advocate in your behalf, you can advocate on my behalf, it kind of dispels. And we're in a VFW war, I don't want to call it a warehouse, but it's a warehouse for us that when we're in war, at the time of war, it doesn't matter what color you are. But if we don't carry that whole myth everywhere we go, then it's going to be a problem. Then the definitive answer is it's going to be war amongst ourselves. Domestic violence is just that. Domestic means home. So every time we're at home, we're at war, how the heck can we go fight for another country? In the words of Muhammad Ali, he said, those people never did anything to me. Why should I go fight and kill when I'm not even respected in my own country? So my goal here today is to unify us as people, not just as individuals that we on our own path, that when we walk out here, she has an event Monday. Why can't I attend? Why should I be fearful to go in her neighborhood? Why should she be fearful? But at the same token, if I call on her, she should be able to come into my communities as well and not have any reservations about anything, but to get her mission accomplished. I know for a fact that if you watch the news, people who look like me are being killed every week. There's a big gang issue right now going on that we're in the middle of. My son's in the gang. He's a high-ranking blood. But yet, at the same token, I don't forget where he at. I understand. Why is he in a gang? It wasn't some of the things that we did, but the environment that comes along with it. And once he becomes in the system, we're impacted by it. We have drug abuse. We have all the things that are no different than what you guys go through, but no one wants to have that dialogue. And so once we can come together today, hopefully, and start a conversation, and you're not going to say all the answers are going to be solved, even though we have the answers because we have the best product to sell. That I'll tell you. You know, I got my associate back here who can tell anything he needs to tell about the criminal justice system right now. Why? He just came up from 20 years easily. So now, who's the better to tell that story? I didn't do 20 years, but I can advocate, I can assist, and with the help of you guys at this panel, you're talking a good story, and I hope that we can all benefit from it.
Yes.
Because end of the day becomes, it's gonna be in my backyard one day or another. And if we don't address it now, get the advocacy that each of us